If you drink something warm and comforting first thing every morning before you drink a single glass of water, please stay with me for the next few minutes, because what I'm about to share could change the way you start every single day for the rest of your life. There is a quiet habit that millions of people over 55 practice without a second thought, a habit so ordinary that almost nobody questions it, and yet doctors who study kidney health keep coming back to this exact routine when they try to explain why so many older adults develop kidney problems that seem to appear out of nowhere. This isn't about anything exotic or rare. It isn't about a strange food or an unusual medication. It's about the very first thing you do when you open your eyes in the morning, before breakfast, before the news, before anything else. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this small window of time matters so much, what your kidneys are actually dealing with while you sleep, and what simple adjustment could help protect them for years to come. Stay with me, because later I'll also explain a second, closely related habit that catches even more people off guard, one involving something many of us reach for automatically when we feel a little ache or pain. Let's talk for a moment about why any of this matters, especially if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Your kidneys are two fist-sized organs sitting just below your rib cage, and their job is remarkable when you stop to think about it. Every single day, they filter about 50 gallons of blood, removing waste, balancing minerals, controlling blood pressure, and deciding what your body keeps and what it lets go. They do this quietly, without asking for thanks, and for most of your life you probably never thought about them at all. But here's the part that matters for us today. As we age, kidney function naturally declines, even in people who are otherwise healthy. This isn't necessarily a disease, it's simply part of how the body changes over time. The problem is that this natural decline means your kidneys have less reserve capacity to handle stress. A habit that your body could shrug off easily at 30 might place real strain on your kidneys at 65 or 75. That's why understanding these small daily patterns becomes more important, not less, as the years go by. This isn't meant to frighten you. It's meant to inform you, because informed people make better choices, and better choices, repeated daily, add up to real protection over time. So let's get into the first major idea, the one at the heart of this video. While you sleep, for those 7 or 8 hours, your body is essentially fasting from fluids. You're not drinking anything. Meanwhile, your body continues to lose water through breathing and through normal skin moisture, even while you're lying still. By the time you wake up, you are, in a very real sense, mildly dehydrated. This is completely normal and expected. Your body is built to handle it. But here's where the habit comes in. Many people wake up and, instead of rehydrating first, they go straight for a cup of coffee or tea. Now, coffee and tea themselves are not the enemy here, and later in this video, I want to be very clear that I'm not telling you to give up your morning cup, but caffeine is a mild diuretic, which is simply a medical way of saying it encourages your body to release more fluid through urine. So think about what's actually happening in that first hour. Your body wakes up already running low on water, and then the very first thing many of us do is introduce something that pushes even more fluid out before we've replaced anything at all. For a kidney that's already working with less reserve capacity than it had decades earlier, this pattern, repeated morning after morning, year after year, adds a small but real layer of extra strain. Let me paint a picture that might feel familiar. Imagine a man named Robert, 71 years old, who has had the same morning routine for as long as he can remember. Alarm goes off, he shuffles to the kitchen, and the coffee maker is running before his slippers are even on properly. He doesn't touch a glass of water until sometime around lunch, if then. Robert isn't doing anything reckless. He's not ignoring his doctor's advice or eating poorly. He's simply following a routine that feels completely normal, one that probably looks a lot like your own morning or the morning of someone you love. The trouble is that this pattern, small as it seems, means Robert's kidneys are spending several hours every single day working with concentrated, low-volume urine, which requires more effort to filter waste properly. Multiply that by thousands of mornings over the years, and you can start to see why doctors who specialize in kidney health pay close attention to something as seemingly minor as what you drink first thing in the morning. Here's a simple way to think about it that doesn't require any medical background at all. Picture your kidneys as a filtration system, similar in concept to a water filter in your home. When there's plenty of water flowing through steadily, the filter does its job efficiently, and waste products move through without much resistance. But when the water flow slows down or becomes irregular, the filter has to work harder to push the same amount of waste through a smaller amount of liquid. Your kidneys operate on a similar principle. Adequate hydration helps waste products, like urea and creatinine, move through your system smoothly. When you're consistently underhydrated, especially in that critical first hour after waking, your kidneys have to concentrate your urine more heavily to do the same job. And over time, that consistent extra effort is exactly the kind of gradual, cumulative pressure that researchers believe may contribute to reduced kidney function in older adults. Now, I promised you earlier that there was a second habit connected to all of this, one that often travels alongside the first, and I want to address it now because it matters just as much, maybe even more, for some of you watching. Many people who skip that morning glass of water are also the same people who reach for an over-the-counter pain reliever first thing, especially something like ibuprofen or naproxen, to deal with morning stiffness, an aching back, or joint pain that tends to be worse after a night of lying still. These medications belong to a family called NSAIDs, which stands for non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and they can be genuinely helpful for managing pain when used appropriately. But here's the connection that surprises a lot of people. NSAIDs work partly by affecting blood flow to the kidneys, and when they're taken regularly, especially in a dehydrated state, that combination can place noticeably more stress on kidney function than either factor would on its own. It's a bit like asking someone to lift a heavy box while they're already a little tired and a little off balance. Either challenge alone might be manageable, but together they demand more than the body may be prepared to give, especially in kidneys that already have less reserve than they once did. This doesn't mean you can never take these medications. It simply means that timing, hydration, and moderation matter more than most people realize, and it's a conversation worth having with your doctor or pharmacist, particularly if you take these medications regularly rather than occasionally. Let's shift now to something practical, because understanding the problem is only half of what you came here for. You also want to know what you can actually do about it, and thankfully, this is one of those areas of health where the solution doesn't require anything expensive, complicated, or difficult to fit into your day. The idea is refreshingly simple. Before you reach for your coffee, your tea, or anything else, try drinking a glass of plain water first. It doesn't need to be ice cold or perfectly measured. A regular glass, roughly 8 to 10 ounces, is a reasonable starting point for most people. This single small shift gives your body a chance to begin rehydrating before you introduce anything that encourages further fluid loss. Some people find it helpful to keep a glass or a filled water bottle right on their nightstand or bathroom counter, so it's the very first thing they see, even before their phone or their slippers. Others like to make it part of a small ritual, drinking their water while the coffee maker is brewing, so the habits stack together rather than compete with each other. The specific method matters far less than the consistency. Doing this most mornings, most weeks, is what creates a meaningful difference over months and years, not perfection on any single day. I want to pause here and gently mention something important, because this video is meant to inform you, not diagnose you. Every body is different, and hydration needs can vary quite a bit depending on your size, your activity level, your climate, and importantly, any existing health conditions you may have. If you've been told by a doctor that you need to limit fluids, perhaps because of heart failure, kidney disease that's already being managed, or another specific medical reason, then general advice like this doesn't apply to you in the same way, and you should always follow the specific guidance your healthcare provider has given you over anything you hear in a general video like this one. For the majority of healthy older adults without fluid restrictions, though, starting the day with water before caffeine is a low-risk, evidence-informed habit that many doctors and dietitians genuinely recommend. Now let's talk about how you'll actually know if you're getting enough fluid throughout the day, because drink more water is advice most of us have heard 100 times without ever getting a clear, practical way to measure it. Here's a method that doctors often mention because it's simple and doesn't require any special tools. Pay attention to the color of your urine, particularly earlier in the day. If it's a pale, light yellow, similar to the color of lemonade, that's generally a good sign that you're well hydrated. If it's consistently dark yellow or amber, closer to the color of apple juice, that's often a signal that your body needs more fluid. This isn't a perfect science, and certain vitamins or medications can affect urine color temporarily, but as a general everyday guide, it's remarkably useful and something you can check without any extra effort, simply by paying attention to something you're already doing anyway. Let's move into another piece of this puzzle that connects directly to what we've already discussed, because hydration doesn't exist in isolation. It works alongside what you eat, and there's a particular pattern worth mentioning here. Many traditional breakfast choices, things like cured breakfast meats, canned soups, salty breakfast breads, or processed cereals, tend to be higher in sodium than people realize. When you combine a salty breakfast with a dehydrated start to the day, you're essentially asking your kidneys to manage two challenges at once, filtering excess sodium while also working with less fluid volume than they need. This doesn't mean you need to eliminate every salty food from your morning routine. It simply means that being aware of this combination allows you to make small adjustments, perhaps choosing a lower sodium option a few mornings a week, or simply making sure you're well hydrated on the mornings when a saltier breakfast is on the menu. Small awareness like this, applied consistently, tends to matter far more over time than any single dramatic change ever could. I want to bring up one more factor that connects to everything we've discussed so far, and it involves something almost nobody thinks about, which is how long you wait before your first bathroom visit of the day. Some people, especially those with busy mornings or long commutes, develop a habit of holding urine longer than they should, sometimes for hours, simply because it feels inconvenient to stop what they're doing. When urine sits in the bladder for extended periods, it can, over time, contribute to urinary tract issues, and in some cases, that added pressure and bacterial buildup can eventually affect kidney health as well, particularly in older adults where bladder muscles may already be a bit less efficient than they once were. The fix here is refreshingly simple. When your body signals that it's time, try not to delay for hours if you can help it. This isn't about creating anxiety around bathroom timing. It's simply about respecting your body's natural signals rather than consistently overriding them for the sake of convenience. Let's step back for a moment and bring these pieces together, because I know we've covered several related ideas, and I want to make sure the bigger picture is clear. Your kidneys are quietly working every hour of every day, filtering waste, balancing minerals, and supporting your blood pressure, all without asking for recognition. As we age, this system naturally has less reserve capacity than it once did, which means small daily habits matter more than they used to. Starting your morning with water before caffeine gives your kidneys a fair start to the day instead of an immediate deficit. Being thoughtful about how and when you use over-the-counter pain relievers, particularly NSAIDs, especially when combined with proper hydration, helps reduce unnecessary strain. Paying attention to sodium, particularly at breakfast, and listening to your body's natural signals rather than delaying them, rounds out a simple but genuinely meaningful approach to protecting kidney health as you age. None of this requires a dramatic lifestyle overhaul. It doesn't require special supplements, expensive gadgets, or complicated meal plans. It requires awareness, and awareness is exactly what you've built by watching this video today. I do want to say clearly that this information is meant to educate and empower you, not to replace the relationship you have with your doctor. If you have concerns about your kidney function, if you've noticed changes in how often you urinate, swelling in your legs or ankles, ongoing fatigue, or changes in urine color that don't resolve with better hydration, those are all worth mentioning to your healthcare provider. Kidney issues are often described as silent for a reason. They frequently don't cause obvious symptoms until they've progressed, which is exactly why routine checkups and simple blood or urine tests, which your doctor can explain and order if appropriate, remain so valuable, particularly after the age of 55. Before we wrap up, let's do a quick recap of everything we've covered today, because repetition, done briefly and clearly, helps information actually stick rather than fade away the moment the video ends. First, your body naturally becomes mildly dehydrated overnight, and reaching for caffeine before water can compound that deficit rather than resolve it. Second, regular use of NSAID pain relievers, particularly when combined with low hydration, may place additional strain on kidneys that already have reduced reserve capacity due to normal aging. Third, a simple glass of water before your morning coffee or tea is a small, low-effort habit that many healthcare professionals genuinely support for most healthy adults. Fourth, watching your urine color throughout the day gives you a practical, no-cost way to gauge your hydration status. Fifth, being mindful of sodium at breakfast and not delaying bathroom visits for hours at a time rounds out a simple daily approach that respects what your kidneys are quietly doing for you every single day. I hope today's video left you feeling informed rather than alarmed, because that's always the goal here, giving you real, practical understanding you can actually use, not fear that leaves you anxious without direction. Small, consistent habits, chosen with a little bit of knowledge behind them, tend to matter far more over the years than any single dramatic change ever could, and that's exactly the kind of steady, sustainable approach to healthy aging that I hope you'll carry with you long after this video ends. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which part of today's video surprised you the most? Was it the connection between morning caffeine and dehydration, or was it learning about how pain relievers and hydration interact? Let me know in the comments below, and feel free to share your age and where you're watching from. It's always wonderful to see just how many different corners of the world this community reaches. If you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with a friend or family member who might benefit from it too. Sometimes the people we care about most are the ones who need a gentle reminder like this. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is built around exactly this kind of practical, trustworthy health education for adults who want to age well, stay independent, and feel confident in the choices they make every single day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.